Hi, I want to thank Candy for an amazing 2 day boot camp. So, I joined this boot camp because I was really struggling with some self confidence issues in my business, and I was really looking for some new strategies to help me break through to the next level. So, not only did she deliver, she over delivered and then over delivered again. So, I walked away with so much empowerment with helping me overcome some blockages that I'd been feeling and increasing my self-confidence in my business. So if you're on the fence or if you're thinking about doing this boot camp, I truly cannot recommend it enough. You will not regret it.
Hi, my name is Alexa, and I wanted to share my experience that I had in the bootcamp with Candy. It was really, really fun. It was great, and in fact, it helped me to stay accountable with some things as an entrepreneur. I can get sometimes sidetracked, or this entrepreneurship life can be very lonely, but it's very, very important, and I know that to stay surrounded by people that are willing to coach you and mentor you and help you stay on track. So Candy, thank you so much, and I look forward to being on a next bootcamp with you.
I wanted to do a video testimonial for a business boot camp I went to a few weeks ago that was conducted by Candy Wyndham, elite business coach. The energy was so high at this event. I was just amazed at the energy level and the content and the easy business strategies, easy to implement business strategies. I was on the fence about starting up my coaching business, but going through the actual boot camp gave me the confidence I needed to overcome my fears and move forward with my business. So if you want to get real business results and overcome your fears and get moving forward, I highly recommend you take this amazing elite business boot camp from Candy Wyndham. She's an amazing coach. Thank you.
My name is Cindy Lespicado. I just want to say thank you, Candy, for inviting me to your boot camp. This is the second one I've done. From the first one, I signed up for your mastermind program. I'm so excited to be working with you. My business has grown so much, and I'm really looking forward for every call that we have. This boot camp, it was a lot of information, a lot of fun activities, amazing guest speakers. Oh my God, it was amazing, and I'm very excited to see what is next. And I'm obviously looking forward for the next boot camp. So thanks again, Candy. I love everything that you're doing for us and for yourself. You're always leading by example, and I appreciate your support and encouragement, and having you on my side. It just makes a difference for me. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Irema Lopez and I am so happy to be here to share just a little bit of feedback regarding Candy's 2 day business bootcamp. Candy is an amazing leader who leads from the heart, who cares deeply, and she has an energy that fills the room. She makes her trainings fun, interactive, and she is so insightful. Some of the topics she discussed are marketing strategies, how to stay consistent, and how to build a support system that will support your business. So if you're ready for growth, join her next challenge. You will love her too.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here. I just have this incredible and amazing guest on the background. But before we started, I just want to say that my name is Candy Wyndham. I am the founder and the leader for the KW Coaching Group, where I help business owners to actually help with the business so they can actually scale it where they want to become a 7-figure human, I would say human performance leader. How is that? I don't know where they come from, but I guess the universe is giving me some information right now. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching us. And I have Dr. Carlos Garcia. He's from Cuba. He's an amazing Latino who is empowering the Tampa Bay area. And he actually opened his business 5 years ago, 2018. He has a member, about 6 to 7 people in his team, and he's growing. He's empowering the Tampa Bay. And I'm so excited to have him here because he's the owner and founder of Tampa Counseling and Wellness. So let's welcome Dr. Garcia. Come on, you got to tell. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Candy, and thank you for all the beautiful work that you're doing for our Tampa community as well.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit more about you, Dr. Carlos. How you started, and who are you in the background? And maybe there are so many people here, they know you, but maybe they don't.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I'll try to go through the quick story. So, I was born in Cuba. I came to the United States with my parents as a political refugee in 1980. Grew up in Miami, had a really great time. I tell people growing up in Miami. And then right after high school, I was sort of lost a little bit. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, but I also knew that I wanted to repay the country for giving my family the freedom that we might not have otherwise had in our own country. So I joined the Marine Corps. So I served in the United States Marine Corps for about 8 years. Coming out of that, I transitioned into a career as a fireman and a paramedic. And I did that for about 6 or 7 years. And then I was getting close to my 30s. And I think most people have like a midlife crisis. I had sort of this like 30s crisis where I sort of felt lost again, Candy. I wasn't sure of like what, I knew there was something more that I wanted to do in the world. And I knew that there was more that I had to give. But I also, I think at the time, and this is a big part of my story, was blocked by a lot of narratives of who I was and who I wasn't. And so I started to do a lot of work on myself. I went to therapy, started, consuming a lot of self-help books, going to seminars, really working on myself. And then I decided that I was going to go and become a sort of an expert, if you will, in human behavior. And so I ended up going back to school full time, left the fire department to get my clinical degree, or my doctorate degree in clinical psychology. I actually finished school in 2015 and loved what I did. It sort of helped me gain an insight into not only how I perform and what my blocks were, but what they were for other people. Mm-hmm. And then I sort of opened up my own practice in 2018. And then what's happened in the last couple of years, Candy, was that I started to realize that a lot of the same struggles that people were coming and wanting to learn about in my office one-on-one, that there was actually business owners and entrepreneurs and people in business that were experiencing those same blocks. And in 2018, I came across some research that was talking about depression and anxiety in business owners. And I put a presentation together. I went down to the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center in Ybor, for those that are familiar. And I just started talking about like mental health in the entrepreneur space. And for the last couple of years, I've done a presentation that's called The Psychology of Being an Entrepreneur. And it helps business owners and entrepreneurs really understand like their mindset from a deeper place. What are those blocks? Where do our fears come from? Where is it that we stop ourselves, that we become our own obstacles? And it's been beautiful. I've really loved doing that work. And so that kind of transitioned into doing a little bit more coaching and a little bit more speaking, in addition to having my practice here in Tampa as well. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a nutshell about my life. A lot of detours, but here we are.
Oh my God, that was really a good summary, because I believe there's more than that. I just want to say congratulations and to obtain your doctorate degree. I know that's very difficult, because I'm in that process. That is a really like, oh my God, you gotta be like focused.
Totally.
So I just want to say thank you, and thank you for empowering people, and especially you are impacting so many people in your practice. And yes, I'm so excited to have you here. But you told me that you start your practice right in 2018. Mm-hmm. So when was the idea? What happened that you feel like, oh my God, this is what I needed to do?
Yeah, so I think it came from a deeper place of understanding what was happening in the field of psychology. And oftentimes in the field of psychology, even in sort of like the institutions that train us, the universities, they've really shifted in the last 20, 30 years to more of a medical model. What does that mean? In this country, we want to pathologize and find what's wrong with people. And then you come to a place and you fix it. You get a medication, you do a treatment. And what I was realizing is that a lot of us, when it came to our emotional and psychological health, we weren't broken. We didn't need fixing. We just needed a space to like be heard, to feel where we can talk with somebody else and not feel judged, not feel like, right, to like honor the space that we are in. And so I found myself that in some of the places I initially worked, it was that other model of like people are coming in, you're the expert, you fix them. But I truly feel that, Candy, like we're the best experts in our lives. Like we know that we have deep inside of us the motivation, the inspiration, like the capacity that we need to overcome anything in life. And so I just wanted to start a practice that was coming from a different model. So our model here at Tampa Counseling and Wellness is it's okay not to be okay, right? And I think that a lot of us sort of need permission in life to like realize that like it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It's not always an uphill climb. It's not always success. That like we're going to have down moments. We're going to have moments where we struggle and we suffer with things. We're going to have loss, and that none of that makes us broken. It makes us human. Right. And so a big part of my therapy is to just sort of create the space for people to allow themselves to accept themselves for where they are. And then from that place to build the resilience that they need to overcome whatever obstacles and to find the motivation within themselves to be as successful as they want to be.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love your mission and your vision, especially how many people you're impacting right now. Because we need people like you.
Yeah. And so part of my practice was, instead of just hiring already licensed therapists, which would have made it a lot easier, again, for our bottom line, looking at it from a business perspective, I hired young therapists that were at the beginning of their career so that I can invest a year, 2 years in them so that they can know how to also do this kind of therapy where we hold space, where we're very compassionate, where we're non-judgmental. And so that's been a big thing for us, right? It's about how do we not only provide a really good service here at our organization, but then how do we get this information out into the community? So all of my therapists are really devoted to being in the community, talking about mental health, helping people understand that we can get past that stigma that, going to therapy is because something is wrong with you.
Yes, exactly. Because most people think, oh my God, something wrong with me, right? Yeah. And especially for business owners. And when you decide to open a business and you start like having this incredible excitement, oh, I want to open this, but it doesn't roll like you wanted to. You feel like, I'm not good enough. This is not for me. This is this. But it's actually, we just grow into the process. We just level out little by little, step by step until we get there.
Perfectly said. I think one of the things that drew me to go to find that research around entrepreneurs, I grew up in a Hispanic household, right? And for any Hispanic men out there, or for most men out there, they know that there was a very strong message that we received around struggling, right? You don't struggle, you don't cry, you suck it up and you keep moving forward. And in a lot of ways, that's helpful. In a lot of ways, that builds resilience. But in a lot of ways, what that did for a lot of us was to develop a lot of shame around struggling. And the truth is, I ask this in any talk that I go do, is there anybody in this room that's never struggled? Obviously, everyone laughs because that's just not the case, right? Yeah, exactly. And then I went right from that sort of upbringing into the military, which is like, suck it up, be tough, rub some dirt in it. And then I went into a career where I had more of the same message. Well, what people don't know is that that's why I found myself in my 30s struggling with my own depression and anxiety, because I had been spending so much of my life bottling everything up. Well, what do you think we find with business owners and entrepreneurs? Again, that same cultural narrative that we wear as a badge of honor, just keep pushing through, don't attend to your emotions, don't attend to the struggles. And I just saw so many business owners burning out, not having a good work-life balance, destroying the relationships in their life because they weren't navigating this process in a healthier, more balanced way.
Wow. Oh my God. You just nailed it completely, Dr. Carlos. You just nailed this subject because most of my, I have my clients, they get super excited at the beginning. And this is something that I always share. Hey guys, you're here, super excited, and go get it. I hired Candy. And then you're going to start learning my strategy. Well, oh, okay. I didn't know this. And then like, oh my God, this is hard. And then oh yeah, so they go deep into it, they just
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
destroy, and that's when we have to be super strong and say this is so normal,
yeah.
this
Well,
is
you
normal.
said something really valuable there. You said a minute ago, when we start to struggle, we start to think, oh my God, I'm not good enough, right? We start to have that imposter syndrome. What we need to understand is it isn't the struggle that made us feel like we're not good enough. It's a deeper programming that we got from our upbringing that makes us feel not enough. And when we start to struggle, it heightens that within us, right?
Mhm.
And so I use this sort of like antic, like if you grew up, and we do, most of us grow up in a house or a culture that puts a lot of emphasis on achievement, 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 right? The kid that comes home with 5 A's and a B, and what
Mhm.
does the parent say, right? It's that constant, like, you need to be better, you need to be better. In some ways, that's good. But for a lot of children early on in their development, when they realize, like, I'm trying and I'm giving my best effort, and they come to a parent or a teacher, and the teacher's like, well, you got to do better. You got to do better. If the message is always, we got to do better, we start to impart a message within ourselves that somehow we're not good enough.
Yes,
And
yes,
so then later on in life, when we're experiencing challenges, we're full of shame, full of guilt, full of self doubt. But what we need to know is that that's just an old story, an old narrative that we've been carrying around, that we're just like everybody else when struggle happens. It's a hard time.
yeah, yeah, we just trying, just pivot it right away,
Right,
like change it
right, right,
automatically, don't say
right.
that.
Changing that mindset, changing that mindset. Yeah,
Don't stay, guys. If
exactly.
you're watching this right now, please make sure that you hashtag replayed. If you're watching the replay and if you have any questions, remember Dr. Carlos is here in the group so he can answer any questions that you may have in English or in Spanish. Guess what?
That's right.
So yeah, so that is incredible how you say that because I'm part of this mastermind with they see my success. They feel like, oh my God, Candy, you are at work here, at work. You're all just success in here, and I'm nothing. I don't have no sales,
Yeah,
nothing is happening. And they start like beating themselves, right? And I said, just focus,
yeah.
just one thing at a time. That's the problem. People they say multitasking, that's not good.
Right, right. Right. Well, and you know this as an entrepreneur as well, right? And you've seen the sort of different images about what the entrepreneurial journey looks like. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And so what I tell a lot of people in my talks is if you're going to set out to achieve any goal, whether it's being a business owner, becoming a new whatever it is, whatever that goal is, know that failure is a part of the process. If you just expect it already, when it happens, you're better prepared for it. It doesn't knock you so much on your butt when you have a bump on the road and you're, oh my God, what am I going to? No, this is a part of it. It's a part of it for everybody that's on a journey of development and growth. So when you learn to honor it and accept it for what it is, it's a teaching, it's a lesson, it's a cue that you're off pace. It's just data telling us how we need to do something different. And when you start to look at failure from that place, it loses all of its power over you.
Yes, that's completely you nailed it, Dr. Garcia.
Yeah.
This is something that you just put it on my mind. It's like, guys, we never lose, we always win.
Right.
Or you win like a lot of money, or you just learn a new way to do things.
You're either winning or you're learning. One of the two. That's it. There's no failure. Failure's it's all up here. It's all in the mind.
Yeah, no, and the fear of judgment, that's something that I focus a lot in my business book. And because, hey guys, this is the fear of judgment. What people were thinking, validation, all those things, it doesn't exist.
Right.
People don't think about me, like, oh my God, what people gonna no, people
Right.
don't even think about me.
People are too busy thinking about all their own stuff. They're in their own minds, caught up with their own stuff.
Exactly. So guys, oh my God. So Carlos, tell us what has been the biggest struggle that you ever have for the last 5 years in business.
Yeah. So I think it's probably bigger than business, Candy, although that's where it shows up a lot. And since that's what, we're talking about today, I can sort of share that. But one of the things I like to share, so a couple of years ago, I went on a spiritual retreat and down in Costa Rica. And it was such a powerful experience for me. And it really sort of made me reflect deeply on what the purpose of my life is. And the biggest challenge for me in the 2 years since coming back from that retreat is integrating those teachings and those lessons into my life as an entrepreneur. So one example is, if you would have asked me 3 years ago about my business, the vision was that we would already have at least 3 offices by now, if not more. Lots of staff, we'd be crushing it in Tampa, being the best provider of services and anything having to do with mental health. But what has occurred for me in the last couple of years is that I'm realizing that my life needed more balance, that I was somebody that was investing so much of myself in seeking and getting validation from my achievements. And that's not where I wanted my life to go. My wife and I also got pregnant, so we have a 1-year-old. And that was this other big thing where it's like, do you rather be at the office at 5 a.m. writing reports and emails, or do you rather be in bed with your son spending quality time? And so I think the biggest challenge for me has been, right, like, how do I take this new sort of lease on life, this new way of looking at life where I'm ready to stop grinding so hard and stop making it all about the money and about the success and about the awards and about the fame. And how do I do work that's heart-centered? How do I show up and do work that, right, instead of putting a monetary value or trying to monetize on something, instead I'm like, how do I make an impact in my community? How do I make an impact in the lives of others? How do I make an impact on the world? And 2 things that have come from that. One, what a challenge to go from being someone who their whole lives has been, you set a goal, you set the mark, the objectives to make it to that goal, and you execute. And going to someone that's like, how do I feel my way into what is the right thing to do here? That's been a massive challenge. But the beautiful thing that has come out of that, Candy, has been that the more I let myself surrender, the more I let myself let go, and the more that I focus on doing work that feels good in my soul, the more that comes my way, the more opportunities, the more money, the more, right? Like, and so it's been a beautiful challenge to sort of undergo, but it's also been beautiful what I've been able to receive as a result.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Especially when you just mentioned that you just, instead of just being in here, you just get centered, right? Yeah. You just feel, and that's something that I was telling one of my coaches last night, actually. Yeah. Hey, if you say, I think about this, it's because you're here. But if you say, I feel, that is coming from your soul. That's coming from your heart. So that's where actually, when I always said, that's where the magic happens. Because, and I had this conversation with Jennifer so many times. It's like, just surrender, let it go. Just let it go. It's like when you are wanting to have a baby, you try so hard, 2 or 3 years, nothing happened, then you forget about it, and then boom, you're pregnant.
I mean, that's sort of what happened for us. And so I think my big passion now in working with entrepreneurs is bringing more of that vibe, right? Like, setting objectives and hitting KPIs and anxiety and just being that, that's one way of doing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding that there's this other very powerful way. And it comes from setting intentions, and it comes from surrendering, and it comes from believing that everything that's happening in your life is a blessing. It's all grace. It's all perfect, right? Like, if a door is closing on you, it's because you're not supposed to go down that road. And instead of hitting your head on that door, like, come on, open up, allowing yourself to just take a deep breath, maybe turn towards another door, because that's where you're supposed to be. And so really trusting that the universe is providing for us in the ways that we need, and not thinking that I have it all figured out in my tiny little human brain.
Yeah, this is something that I learned from Joe Dispenza. Do you know Joe Dispenza?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Joe Dispenza said in the last retreat when he said we were meditating, he said, "Okay, look for the door." And many people couldn't find the door, and then he explained and said, "Just make it. You create it. You create the door. That's all you need to do. Create the door."
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that.
So guys, you just gotta create the door. And the challenges that Dr. Carlos just mentioned is super important, because we get to like, oh my God, because we have, team that we had to provide, we had to pay payroll, we had to pay benefits, we had to do all these things, make sure taking care of our organization responsibilities, but also most important is to the responsibilities that we have with our own purpose in life. Mm-hmm. That is in alignment, because that's when most people like, this doesn't sound like a business mentoring. It's like life coaching. If your life is not matching what you want, it's not gonna go.
Yeah. Well, and I think, right, Candy, like this outdated idea that if you're a business owner, you have your personal life and your business life. They're the same thing. All aspects of our life are interwoven. If I'm having a bad day with my wife, you think that that's not going to come and affect me with my clients, with my coworkers, of course it is. And same thing vice versa, right? So I think we also just need to shift this idea. Like if we're going down this road of being entrepreneurs and business owners, it's about finding a healthy balance of how those two parts of our lives come together. But who we are at home is who we are at work, and who we are at work is who we are at home.
Yeah, beautiful. So Carlos, share with us, do you hire somebody when you start your business? Do you have a mentor or somebody who can give you a speed at the process so you can model it? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in mentors. I'm a big believer in finding coaches, therapists, counselors, pastors, whatever sort of resource you need to give you the boost, either emotionally or psychologically, or the information and the resources that you need to help you grow in whatever area that may be. So for me, Candy, I spent a lot of years in therapy working on myself, helping understand my narratives. Here's a perfect example. Part of, like I said earlier, one of the reasons I went into the Marine Corps is because I didn't think I was college material. Well, I had that narrative in my mind because I grew up in an immigrant family where my parents were busy working and didn't have time to sit and do homework with me. So while a lot of my other friends had that and were flourishing, I was like, oh, I'm not a college material. So I'm going to go to the military as a second thing. Here I am sitting with 5 college degrees later on in life. So that tells you about the stories that we carry, right? But therapy was a really powerful way for me to understand where I block myself, where my fears are, why those fears are there. Mm-hmm. So I think that by the time I became an entrepreneur, I had a lot of those tools to access. But I have a lot of friends that, had businesses before me, people that I trust, right? And I think that's a big thing. Had trusted advisors, people you can reach out to, people that have sort of gone ahead and have taken the bumps on the road. One thing I will admit about me, I'm one of those, I'm stubborn, I'm hard-headed, and sometimes I need to learn the lessons the hard way. So I probably need to be better about reaching out sometimes before. But I like learning that way. I like learning through my mistakes and realizing, oh, okay, because I can really drill into what are all of the elements that went into me having this failure. And because I'm not afraid of failure anymore, I'm happy to learn that way.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my God. Yes. Asking for help is key. Don't be stubborn like Dr. Carlos Garcia.
Yeah, don't do it my way. It's going to take you a lot longer to get there for sure.
Ask for help, and that's very important, that we always talk about the proximity, right? Have the really like at least 5 people in your corner where you have something and you need some, reach out for help. Totally. They can support you during the process.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're sort of joking about it, but here's a perfect example for your audience. Asking for help is a part of my deeper traumas from my past. My whole life learned to not trust adults and that I needed to do everything my own way. So you can imagine the way that showed up in my relationships early on. Obviously I'm going to show up as an entrepreneur, and so like, that's what I want business owners and entrepreneurs and everybody to look at, is what are my stories? Where do they come from? right? That has just been a theme in my life, not asking for help. My wife tells me all the time, right? But knowing those things about those deeper challenges that we face is what sets us free in the long run.
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. At least you recognize it and you see
Yeah.
the pattern, right? The
Totally.
pattern that comes, because sometimes people are like, why is this always happen to me? Is it
Right.
good? You've been doing this the same thing over and over.
Exactly. And patterns are hard to break. I mean, psychology tells us that.
Yes, yes. Oh my God. So if there are 3 steps, so 3 gold nuggets that you want to leave this community of entrepreneurs that are starting business or maybe scaling the business to 7 figure, because they're all looking for this dream of having the first million,
Yeah.
what would you say to them?
Beautiful. Yeah, I think the first thing I would say is, something I mentioned earlier, just expect failure. Expect that there's going to be bumps in the road. Expect that there's going to be ditches. Just brace yourself for it. Remove the shame from failing and see it as a teacher, right? As just a next opportunity. So that way we become resilient in the face of failure. It doesn't impact us anymore. We don't have to feel that deep sort of sense of shame or guilt because we're failing. Because the more we have these conversations, the more we realize like all of us are going to fail, right? It's just a matter of what we do when that happens. And the people that are able to be successful, the people that are able to hit the marks, are the ones that are able to get up, dust themselves off faster and faster in the presence of failure. So that's the first thing I would say. I think the second would be to trust yourself, right? We all come from very unique backgrounds, and I think about like every person that has been a teacher, a guide, a support system for me. Like all of those people have been in my support. They have been put in my path by a higher power, whether that's God or consciousness or however you want to describe it. It's in your life for a reason. A lot of us spend so much time suffering because we have this view of how we want life to be. And every day that we wake up and it's not that way, we become frustrated, we become depressed, we become anxious. But I think if we're able to wake up and see like, okay, what does the universe have for me? I believe that our higher power, like the version of me or the version of life that he has set for me 5 years from now, this Carlos Garcia can't step into because I still have my work to do to get there. So that's how I honor everything that's in my life now, whether it's good or bad, hard or easy. It's there for me. I trust it. And the third thing I would say is find those support systems. Find those people. One of the books that I read really early on was The Success Principles, How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be by Jack Canfield. He's the co-author of all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books.
Yeah.
And one of the first chapters says, you got to put yourself in the environments where people succeed. You got to put yourself in the conversations with people that are going where you're going, right? And so whether that's through networking, whether it's through finding a coach, whether it's through being in an online community like this amazing one that you've built, whatever that is, just start putting yourself in those spaces. Just by doing that, you're already manifesting greatness. You're already manifesting your success because you're putting in here in those deeper unconscious places the programming that needs to happen so that you can reach those higher marks.
Oh my God, guys, Dr. Carlos just dropped a bomb here. If you agree, just type below bomb, because he just dropped the bomb, and especially the way that you said, because it's important. It's like when you smoke, cannabis or whatever you're smoking, you become the people around you is gonna do the same. If you're gonna be, if you are hang out with lazy people, you're gonna be the next one. But if you hang out with millionaires and go-getters and driven people that want the same that you want, you're gonna become the same one too.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's all about the power of the inner circle and the support system that you have. It's super incredible.
Community is huge. Community is huge.
Community is huge, especially right now that I'm, been creating this movement, Live from Your Heart, because that's where you are. I say, hey guys, I'm not gonna give you an award. Hey, this is how much money you made, because you will be. It's how big you're gonna be from here.
Yeah.
How many people you have in a book that you're impacted. That's where you're gonna receive the award.
Absolutely. Beautifully said.
Yeah, incredible. So the three nuggets that Dr. Carlo just mentioned: expect failure. Number two, trust yourself. Three, find a support system. So Carlos, where this incredible, beautiful community and the people who are watching right now, where they can connect with you?
Yeah, so most of my content that I put out is on Instagram, and that's at Dr. Carlos A. Garcia. And so I post a lot of videos on there and just about life and business and all the kinds of things that, we sort of have to maneuver in life. If, anyone that's in the Tampa area or, actually anywhere in the state of Florida who might be looking for some mental health services, my practice has some amazing therapists for people that are looking to grow and heal and expand. We provide services for anyone struggling with, anxiety, depression, grief, self-esteem, any of those things. We also have some other really good services. We have a health and wellness coach that works here. We do sort of meditation coaching as well for anyone that's looking to dive deeper into their meditation practice. So we're all about wellness. And again, we're all about it's okay to not be okay, and breaking down that stigma that, it's okay to struggle.
It's okay to struggle and it's okay not to be okay. How cool is that? Oh my
I
God.
love
Thank you so much, Dr. Carlos, for
Thank
having
you,
you here.
Candy.
Guys, thank you for watching. Just remember, just tune up with us the next Tuesday. It's going to be an incredible, another amazing speaker. I'm not going to say who is going to be here, but I'm sure that you guys are going to love it. So thank you so much for watching. Please make sure if you have questions, comments, or anything, share this with your friends, because this is going to help somebody else. Trust me. You might not be able to help somebody, but whatever the information and the strategies and tips that we share here, they can help somebody else. So make sure that they will appreciate you share this with them. So guys, remember, live from your heart, because that's where the magic happens. Thank you, guys.